forms of abuse are also connected to all kinds of other forms of abuse as well, including when men assault other men, it's gender-based violence because it's rooted in an understanding of manhood, if you will, or masculinity or power and dominance, and in very similar ways to men's violence or men's abuse towards women. So gender-based violence, even though when we normally talk about it in the field, we're talking about, generally speaking, sexual assault, sexual harassment, domestic violence, relationship abuse. I think we do have to think more expansively than just those. Although, as you know, Vicky just gave some statistics, the problem of men's violence against women, which is one incredibly and probably the biggest subset of the category of gender-based violence. And by the way, let me just say from the beginning, I know that women can be abusive. I know that women can be abusive towards other women, towards men. I know that people around the gender spectrum beyond men and women can be victims and perpetrators. That's all true. And nobody should be a victim, and all people should be held accountable for abusing abusing others. And all of our work needs to approach the subject in an expansive way. In other words, nobody should be victimized and nobody should be allowed to be abusive. But let me just be clear. Men commit the vast majority of abuse, whether the victims or the targets are women or other men or themselves. Men commit the vast majority of the abuse. So I think one of the missing pieces in this conversation, I don't mean today's conversation, but I mean in the global conversation about sexual assault and domestic violence and other forms of gender-based violence, the missing piece has been thinking critically about men and masculinities and how our different societies are shaping the lives of boys and socializing boys and men into sort of normative definitions of manhood that lead so many of us and so many of them to behave in these ways. And that's part of what we need to be doing. I mean, part of what we need to be doing is talking about that. And I appreciate the opportunity to do that. So thank you for that short question and my long answer.